Hello everybody and welcome. I am the Beta Plan and this is the announcement trailer of Paradox's newest game, just announced at ParadoxCon in Berlin for 2020. It is Crusader Kings 3. Now, I didn't really expect there to come a Crusader Kings 3 already, but you could have kind of guessed that it was coming up because, well, they've released always new versions of Europa Universalis and of, for instance, Hearts of Iron. And let's face it, Crusader Kings 2, well, they have released over 30 DLCs if you count all the unit DLCs, all the music packs, and definitely DLC content packs like the Old Gods and the Sons of Abraham, what have you not. So Crusader Kings 3 is coming to us in 2020. And in order to get you hyped on this Crusader Kings 3 release and get you hooked into those grand strategy games, I know I have some people that watch my channel that always tell me I can't play with you when we're on the stream because I don't own Crusader Kings 2. Well, Crusader Kings 2 has just been made free to play. The base game can be downloaded for free on Steam. On one hand, I am thrilled that other people can enjoy the content that I have been enjoying for years. On the other hand, I'm like a little bit, I purchased like almost every downloadable content. Can I get something, Paradox? Would you give me a press release copy of Crusader Kings 3? Huh? I don't know, they probably won't see this video, but I would love it, of course, for my small little channel. But yeah. For your question, are you going to play Crusader Kings 3? Is the Pope Catholic? Of course I'm going to play Crusader Kings 3. What am I hoping for? I do not know exactly, but I do have a few screenshots of gameplay, so I have to go to OBS here in order to bring those up. You're going to lose my lovely face, but yeah, have to bear with me for that. This is one of the first screenshots available for us, and what I see mainly here is a very interesting tree. I see on top the old stats, or at least what I think are the old stats: diplomacy for 2, martial 5, stewardship apparently 0, intrigue 5, and scholarship 0. And this is the martial experience, and you can apparently unlock perks who apparently give you bonuses, so you have a much greater detail about the characters that you are forming, which means I have the feeling and they're trying to even further develop your connection to the family that you are playing. And I believe that that is a good way forward, because that was always one of Crusader Kings 3's main aspects, if you will, versus Europa Universalis 4, Hearts of Iron, or Imperator Rome, which I always said I can't do enough with the family. The family is one of the main focuses, along with your nation, and of course a lot of the religious play. Which, by the way, is interesting because apparently in Crusader Kings 3 they have chosen not to mention anywhere the sentence Deus Vult. Which is of course very... It's almost a thing that comes to mind immediately when you hear about Crusader Kings 3. Or better say about Crusader Kings. I don't know exactly why they've chosen to do so. Maybe because they feel like the sentence nowadays is hurtful. You can have your own mind on that if you dislike or like it. I always have to say I do feel obligated to tell everybody then when I'm playing a Catholic and I say dirty bleep enter other religion in here, that I always have to mention it is because I'm playing this religion. Because if you see me then play blip religion, I will say, well, you dirty Christians, and I'm fine with using the Christianity as a dirty religion in that case because, well, I am a Christian in principle. But yeah, perhaps they didn't do it for that, but what they did try to do therefore is, they tried to make Crusader Kings 3 more endearing to the characters that you create, and here your lovely daughter is probably to, well, make her stronger. And I assume that the stats that you see on the lower left near her body are probably the stats then of the court or something, and then these top ones are additional power. Once again, I haven't gone to Berlin. This is and ParadoxCon, so this is just me making some very uninformed judgment calls. But I love the fact this looks cool. What I'm a little bit afraid of is how many of these do you get over a year? How well is this doable, and how do you gain martial experience? Only by going into combat? In that case, it is interesting to go to with a character into martial, because ever since one of the latest updates in the DLC, I should say, from Crusader Kings 2, you've seen me take our leader into battle, and before I didn't do that because there were cool events locked into that. Now, speaking of events, here is one of those events. Well, a detailed look at one of those events, and you can see that. I was such a pleasant feast, but then he showed up. Can I not have a single uneven, unsullied by the invasive stench of Mayor Eben of Montreal-sur-Mer? Worst of all is the nasal grinding of his voice as he slides up to me. Why the sour face, Eustache? And apparently here you can have your interactions. You're probably playing this man, because that's what looks over here. So apparently we have 3D models. And these is what the new events are, but on the other hand, they don't seem to be new. Or is it that you're going to click on one of these that actually these 3D characters are going to possibly fight with one another? I doubt that. It just feels a little samey. There's nothing new here. What you can also see, however, is that the map graphics have been updated quite severely, and let me show you that a little bit in detail, because I also have for that a little map, and that is this one. This is a up close look at the map, and this does look very nice and detailed. And at first I only saw images of England, and I was like, you can only play England, but then I saw there is an entire map, and we can see in the previous event that you're apparently playing someone from France, so it won't be as limited as Crusader Kings 2 once was in the beginning, because I don't even think you could only play as the Spanish Kings, the true Crusader Kings, but I don't know. Perhaps I'm making that up because I did came into the game after the second DLC, I believe. But yeah, this is a show of it. I believe if I look at this, at least the cities that are lighting up here in blue is probably then what I would assume a province with several counties in it. Perhaps they've gone a little bit more in detail how you can even conquer certain provinces, which makes me think it's going to take a lot more time to conquer something, because we can see, for instance, on the left side of the screen, we can see that the Somerset county has been completely united, and it's like there are like a few borderlines near the castles over her, and also near the portraits you can see some individual dotted lines. So I wonder how it goes with conquering provinces. It might actually be more focused on your nation, and if you're a count, it's certainly going to be a little bit more difficult coming into power, which actually for me feels like a higher challenge, which I welcome. So I'm very curious to see that. Now, about the screen, I can also show you this one. This is the last little screen I have. I don't know what it means, plus 44, minus 11, plus 14. I assume opinion of one another or something. But it is, because here you look at Lord Rewalon. Sorry, I don't do Welsh. But Rewalon up 7, and he seems to be your brother, your marshal and knight. And apparently he is a resentful ravener. I don't know what that means, but it's probably connected to his traits. And he has a plus 44 and his spouse, a minus 11 with you, and a plus 14 to my heir. And he is the lordship of Meldwin, and well, we see a few things, and then you can see that again, if you light on the map, it seems like he holds a certain small territory for you, and that is really interesting. I'm pretty. It feels to me like there is more detail in the nations, and I welcome that. And there seems to be more detail in how you build up the traits of your character, and probably each character will be more individual. I can see on this screen that he is a feudal nation, he has 66 gold, he has 105 prestige, and 59 piety, and 555 man. That is what I read in the line below the shield, and I assume that the gauntlet with the 0 beneath it is probably the threat or the aggressive expansion or what have you not. You can also see that you immediately have family in this overview on the left. So I wonder if is this going to go up to 1,000? I like kind of the screen is maybe difficult for a really big family in order to convey all that's in there. But yeah, I'm curious. I'm definitely going to play it. I'm really stoked for it. I hope they will give the developers the time to develop the game fully. Perhaps add new events, add new things, not just 3D graphics and updated graphics and that, ooh, here's Crusader Kings 3. Of course, when Imperator Rome came out, a lot of people were like, yeah, come on, I mean, this game doesn't feel like it's finished, doesn't feel like it has enough its own feeling, because, yeah, and we had that a little bit as well. I do want to come back to it, but I hope that Crusader Kings 3 feels like a Crusader Kings, but feels like a new Crusader Kings with, for me personally, more challenge, more detail, possibly more historic events like the hip mod does. Hopefully they take the good things from the mods and possibly even be able to play a Baron now. That would be cool. Playing perhaps religious people. We've done that as well. Those are ideas that I have. Those are wishes I have. Talk about it in the comments. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. And I hope to see you on the channel when it comes out. And hopefully you will be enjoying as I play Crusader Kings 3. And until that moment, I can only say to you, well, the thing I always say. Thank you for watching, and remember, great peril yields great beauty.